Hey, what's up? Let's talk about a strange passage that's got some history to it. Romans 13, 1 through 7. And it basically blatantly, so very blatantly says, submit to the government. Submit to the government, submit to the government. God put them there. If they got taxes, pay them. Just obey their laws because God put them there. And why that's not what it means. If you don't know, let's take some history. Back in the Nazi days, back in World War II, all of the Germans went straight to this thing after some Christian priests went out against the government. They said that you have to obey us because God put us here. So let's talk about why that's not true, why it's not right. So before we talk about the actual context of Romans 13, 1 through 7, let's talk about some practical biblical reasons about why it's not right. Because the government's not always right. We see that with things like maybe Jesus being crucified by the Romans, the infanticide, the Babylonians taken up, the Egyptians taking them up. All this stuff, it's very obvious throughout the entire Bible that the government's not always right. So what really is this passage talking about? It's telling us that the stuff of this world, this government stuff, they don't really matter. If they got taxes, just pay them. They don't really matter in the long run. If they got a stupid little law, just obey it. It doesn't really matter in the long run. But let's look at some context in part 3. So let's talk about some context with Romans chapter 13. So we're very, very early in the church. All the Romans had to do was kill a few people off, and Christianity wouldn't have existed therefore. And Paul's got to prosper these people. Paul's got to make sure this church stays alive. So he's got to be smart, he's got to be strategic. And with this crazy new rise in this early church, the emperor at the time, Nero Caesar, is likely going to read this letter to the Romans. So he's got to appeal to Nero. If Nero is a Christian persecutor that killed a bunch of Christians, then if he sees this section and says, you gotta obey the authority of the government, he's gonna love it and he's not gonna hate Paul. So what can we learn from this 7 chapters in the middle of Romans? The Bible, it's not what we think it always is. We gotta look at the context. It's not always literal. Can't always just take stuff and throw it out there like the Nazis did. But we gotta look at the important stuff, the context. Context plus the data, the verses, will lead you to the understanding. Not everything in the Bible is literal. Remember that. That's a good thing. So yeah. Romans chapter 13, 1 through 7. It's not saying, no matter what, always 100% obey the government. But it's saying, don't make some unneeded trouble. If they got taxes, just pay the taxes, dude. If they got stupid little laws, just follow them, dude. Doesn't matter for the scope of eternity.